Hello everybody, welcome back to Space Engineers 2, where we are currently building a very large ship. I've had a bit of time to consider what we've learned from the last time, yesterday. And what we've done is we've removed our gyroscopes. They were kind of on either side here, and I felt that they're a little too decentralized. They ruined the flow. So what we've done is we've left everything else as it was. We've just removed the gyroscopes from where it was, for those that are following along. And we're going to try and place them on a lower deck here. Now, thinking about the way the gyroscope looks, there's a visual window on each side there, and we're going to consider that to be the floor. But that gives us like view of our gyro. Actually, hang on. They have a right way up sign. Is that right way up or right way down? That's an interesting thought, actually. Do gyroscopes have a particular way up? Eee. I'm guessing that's okay. Yeah, this is an interesting factor, actually. Do gyroscopes have a particular way up that they want to be? I mean, I'm guessing that's the right way up because of how they are. Is there an arrow pointing forward on these? Yes, there is. Okay. So if we place them kind of like there, it's a little less visually appealing from most sides, but two of these big gyros right kind of slap bang in the center of our ship should be quite beneficial. Let's pop a third in. Right, 3, I'm hoping, this is me hoping, 3 should be plenty. Now we're considering that these things are not exactly tied in very well for future safety, so we're going to pull a line across here, because the last thing we want is if you lose one gyro, for the others to sort of fall off. And this is where these little kind of smaller cubes really come in handy. Okay, we're gonna just make like ourselves a little like scaffold that these things can sort of live on. Just for detail's sake, I mean, it is actually worth detailing. Now, the rotationals, I believe they are a bit of a sticking point for some people. The fact that you have to hold control. I'm kind of getting used to it now. There are still occasions where I do reach for the other buttons, but for the most part, I'm kind of used to this, and it's nice, it's quicker for me now not to have to take my hand off. That's still a bit of a pain in the neck for me though. Just turn our view round. Right, so that looks pretty sweet. Let's have... Let's drag that up. Let's do the same there. Let's go back to a normal block. Nope, too big, too big. There we go. Yeah, think that's a good idea here. That was offset in, wasn't it? Right, okay. Yep. So a little bit of detailing on this run. Small details that, you know, potentially would not be seen, but we can't really count on that. Oh god. No. There we are. Right. Now we've got to do the same on here to be consistent now. We'll do these corners before we actually start messing with the squares. Right. Shift R. Okay, Shift R to go backwards one block. That's fine. There we go. So we've got a nice little scaffolded trellis holding this on. Let's put these on. Probably could have done that with symmetry, but right. Nice. So we've got our gyros in place now in a slightly more serviceable area. They're more central. That's going to shift the weight a bit over this way towards the center, because I know a lot of the weight's going to concentrate around these cargo containers and these modules here. So shifting that weight just a little bit further over this way. We don't have the tools to see what the center of mass is, but that should be good. Now we need to consider accessibility to these areas. So we've already got our little pathway down to our central sort of spine or corridor. Now it's only a 1 block wide corridor, so it's not exactly going to be easy for us to just go bump down a bit. We want to make this compatible with no jetpack playthroughs, just in case people are out of hydrogen. You shouldn't need a jetpack to get around this ship. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come down a bit more. So I think what we can do is, oh, these are all small blocks. Okay, that's ideal. Okay, one more. I should have been in. Let's undo. I still love that. Right, now we're in. It's a bit better. Yeah. Oh, these last two need to come back in. Right. So from here, we can actually put some more stairs in. So let's find our staircase. Yeah. Now we can again, as I mentioned last time, we can produce our own stairs. Okay, so there we go. So that's fine. Right, now I think these stairs need tying in with a block. Let's go back to large. Okay, large block, that's where things are going to get interesting, because we are literally lined up to have everything like one, well, let's see, how many large blocks size? 1, 2, 3 whole large blocks. So we need to come down 3 whole large blocks. That's going to get interesting. Let's map out 3 large blocks. Oh, we've lost our... This is interesting. I'll tell you one thing that's bugging me a lot. Our symmetry mode tends to disappear quite often. It needs to be a little bit more resilient than it currently is. That did not place on this side, because there's some blocks there that shouldn't be there. Undo. Which has me wondering if symmetry mode is behaving. Yeah, because all of this row does not belong. Saving. Okay. Let's try this again. Now, because we've got this block in here, and then we've got 3 more. Well, are we a full 3 down? I need to place a block, a single cube here. Yes, okay, so we are a full 3 down from this point. Now, that kind of offsets the stairs a little bit, because the stairs are going to come down 1 block shy because of this one. So we are going to map this out. We're going to go 1, 2. That's the area, the level we need to reach. Oh. Oh. Yeah, wrong kind of block. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Right. So we need to come down to the level with the bottom of that. Now, okay, we might as well build out this as like a full... I'm not going to waste that much space, I don't think. Let's use wall blocks. Yeah. Interesting how... Oh, wall blocks are not... Oh, yeah, because we're offset, aren't we? We are offset. This is where detailing cube's going to come in. Oh, actually, no, detailing cube. Maybe... No. Let's go our small grid equivalent. And then we're going to do... It's going to come out quite a bit further than that, so... Well, it's not going to come out quite a bit further than that there. So undo that. Right. So that should enable us to put another staircase on. Transition between the staircases are a little bit off, but we should be alright. Ooh, actually, no. No. Let's think carefully about this. We are wasting a lot of space by doing all this. Right. This could be a floor on its own. Right here, and we can come down another floor to get level with all of this. So, right here, I believe we should have some sort of a floor. And I don't think we need to have a massive thick floor at that, so... We should come down like this. We can bring this into here. Level with that at least. This bit can open up for batteries and things or whatever. I'm not sure what's going in that bit yet. We may need to take some of those out for a door at some point. Speaking of doors, I don't know if a door's going to fit in here. We just about fit. Okay, this is quite a snug little space. So we could probably do with go in detail cubes or something. All wall blocks which are about the width of a detail cube instead of going full floor here. I think, well, depending on the size of the conveyor, but there's a good chance that this whole level here, this yellow stuff, here is going to be able to be replaced directly with a floor block there and still have room for the conveyor above this. So we don't necessarily need to place a wall block in here just yet. Well, ceiling block. Well, I'm going to call it, it's a wall block, but we're going to use it as, yeah, one of these. There you go. That can go into that space itself, so we must consider that this lot isn't necessarily necessary. So we'll pull this back. Okay, here's where we get into where we put the door. Oh, this is what happens when you bump something. Can we place another one of these in here? Clearly not. Let's pull that out. Oh, they're single blocks. Undo. Undo, undo, undo. Right, we'll keep that in. That's useful. We'll just have to detail that a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Bit nicer. Some room for a control panel or something in there without actually filling that space. The rest of this space is quite snug. Yeah, there's plenty of space there. It's a whole block's height, I think. So I think we can actually place a full-size block in there. Yeah. Right. So what's going on here? Okay, we're going to see little weird things because it is an alpha and there are slight issues. And it seems like symmetry's kind of only, well, it's nearly perfect. It's not quite right, but right. So back to what we were doing. We've got the basis here for one floor already. So I think what we could do is keep this area as like a central stairwell. So we could come around here and come back down one level, which sets us up for maintenance on there. So let's just make sure this is sensible. But we're going to pull out for now. Oh dear. I'm going to pull out all of these. I'm doing them one row at a time at the moment because it's a bit fiddly to try and do a... Let's try it. No, it wants to go up. Ah, now it's working. That should be enough. Might need a bit more. Oh. There we go. Right, so let's place the staircase in here. For 2. This is where we need precision mode. Notice it goes red if you can't place it, green where the anchor point where you can place is. Right, that means it's clear we have to remove another load of this. Ah, we've lost, yeah. We lost that mode again. That's very annoying. I'm definitely not hitting T randomly. It's possible I was stood in the space that the next block needed to go in. Don't know. Right. Now it's clear that we're not going to get under there with this the way it is, so we have to pull out some more. Probably need to pull it right back actually. So that solves the idea of like this place being a little bit useless by turning it into like a central stairwell. It is kind of symmetrical as well. Right. I mean, redundancy, both sides. Not necessary. Oh, I wonder if they solved this problem of when you rotate, if you end up rolling all the time, like doing that. Because beforehand, when you turned all the way around, you'd end up rotated in a funny way. Spin around a few times. Only a little bit. Not as anywhere near as bad as before. That used to be a big problem. Right. So now we've got the ability to come down onto another floor. This floor doesn't quite line up with where we want to end up though. We could probably do it going down one more staircase on each side. So this is where we're going to do that. The anchor point's a bit funny, but we can use precision. Yeah, these stairs weren't exactly made to tessellate so much. Maybe we should have brought that forward one actually. I'm gonna do. Let's try this again. Right, okay. So it's not as smooth a tessellation because, like, let's see it from a walking point of view. There's a little hitch. It's not so much of a problem though. Maybe at some point they'll replace this with like more tessellatable stairs, or we'll just make our own somehow. That brings us down to exactly where we need to be for this maintenance floor. So now, again, using these small blocks, we're going to make full use of this small grid size. Okay, we're just going to drag out a line to somewhere under here for a minute. And then we can fill that in. Something went wrong there. Guess it's good to look out for any kind of incongruities. Okay. Now maintenance to these blocks will be from the sides. Maintenance to these blocks can be around literally where I am. We can bring a corridor around this way. Maintenance to the inner cargo containers might not be as big a problem, because for cargo containers to get damaged from the sides, at least, the shot would have to go through one of these first, and then that would lead us to be able to get to the cargo container behind. From above, the shot would need to come through this armor here, which would also expose the cargo container. From below, it would need to get through whatever deck we're putting underneath this, which again would expose the cargo containers. So I don't think we need direct access to them. And they're not, well, they're critical blocks in the sense that they hold whatever you want to carry, but they're not critical blocks in the sense that they operate the function of the ship or anything. You can't suddenly be stranded because you lost a cargo container. I mean, potentially you could. So there's our staircase. We need to do something with this space here. We'll figure that out in a moment. But that gets us down to where we need to get to. So let's widen this out. Ooh, little bit of a freeze there. Okay, so we're seeing where also the performance issues might actually be in this game. So slowly discovering what's difficult and what's easy for it. Saving seems to be a thing. Some blocks could not be finished because the space was not clear. That's an error, clearly, because I wasn't anywhere near here. Let's undo that and try that for this side. Some blocks could not be built. Verify the area is clear. Okay, so there's clearance detection problems clearly. That's even at least now. Oh, we've got this big space here to fill in. Visually verify everything as you're building. It just makes sense. Again, we're blocking out big blocky areas just for the moment, but we can chip into these to get shape, so it's not like we are forced to build a big rectangle. We're just laying out the structure of the core of the ship, and then the outer sides where other rooms and, you know, bunks and med bays and auxiliary cargo and eventually maybe gas tanks, because we've got oxygen in this game. We have an oxygen meter down there on the left and a hydrogen meter, so there will be hydrogen and oxygen tanks. All of that will need a home in here as well. So in the core actually we'll have the hydrogen stuff. I usually tend to put these towards the back of the ship, which is this way. So I think it's this way. Which way are we deciding is the back? No. This way. This can be the back. That'll be the front, I think. Doesn't really matter at this point. So, yeah, actually, yeah, this way, because then we've got direct access to piping from here into tanks and, you know, hydrogen, oxygen generators and so on, which would then immediately feed any hydrogen thrust, if that's going to be a thing in this, on the back of here. So that's something. One thing that's important is we keep these ports available on the bottom, because we want to be able to feed thrust in all directions. I am assuming right now that hydrogen thrust will be a thing. I am hoping so. I mean, as with the original development of Space Engineers 1, hydrogen thrust was a later addition, as was atmospheric thrust. We all started with just a single type of ion thruster in 2 sizes. So this is kind of being traditional in that sense. Right, where were we? So we have access to this area here, which we'll need to continue down there for maintenance purposes. This opens up some room here for things, maybe computers and stuff, eventually. Again, these are things that we haven't got yet. Right, I don't want to fill in these spaces here directly, because if we end up with a 1 block gap, like, I can't build on that for some reason. Some of these areas are not anchorable, so yeah, okay. So if I end up with like a 1 block gap around here, let's just simulate this. Like as an offset, when it comes to attaching something on, I don't know for a fact that we're going to get the frame to bridge that gap on the conveyor network. So I don't want to place anything directly onto these right now. Just as on here we didn't place anything that got in the way of us putting these on. These all come level, and even if it means that a block like these sit like one sort of 25 centimeter space off the floor, well, under the floor should I say, that's acceptable. But for these bits, I'm not gonna put anything there. So we're going to continue this, but we're going to leave a healthy space. So let's work out what a healthy space would be. I think one large block all the way around, maybe one. So basically that width. We're going to work out air tighting eventually, but that's not something we can test today because it's not a thing yet. So let's go that far. I believe that should be... oh, actually, what did I go onto that for? One. Let's just assume... yeah, that's right. Okay. Normal cube, right. So as I said at the beginning, we're going to try and use... oh, this is interesting. You don't belong. You're missing. And you certainly don't belong. Oh. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is dead center. These are all placed exactly the same. That one doesn't belong there. Right, now that's even. Good, right. Really be careful with this symmetry. Oh god, no, I don't want to do that. Let's just check that that went on okay. Seems to have done. This is a long ass maintenance pathway. Right. That's where the start of the maintenance tunnel is going to be. Clearly there's going to need to be some bracing and protection across here, but we need to figure out what's going on these first. So obviously we are not going to be able to finish this entire build. Not in the current vertical slice, but this can be a project that continues through all the vertical slices so that we have something continuous, something comparable and congruent. I like that word. That we can use to work with. Okay, let's widen this. I don't know how wide to go, so we're just going to give it plenty for the minute. We've got our second floor starting to take shape. Obviously, that's a problem right now, which needs solving. But we can't solve right now because we don't know what's going in these spaces yet. Could just be a conveyor pipe, and then we fill in around it. We just don't know. Right, so access to all the... oh, saving, okay, saved, right. Access back here, probably a good idea, so we'll extend this out a bit more. Right. I'm not going to fall into the trap of building this all the way across and then filling in all this space, because then it will look like a brick. At some point towards the back we probably might want to actually come out a little bit more, and like a third floor. We're definitely going to have something underneath these anyway. It's going to be a monster, this. So engineering, power and gyros, something on the bottom, that, like an air gap at the very least, to protect these with armour. room for like weapons or missiles or something. And then above this will be command deck, medical. I mean, we could put some of that here, I guess, but we need to leave room for jump drives, batteries, computers, gas tanks, the whole command center, the medical bay, quarters, possibly more storage, in fact, because these cargo containers that we have in place here, yeah, I'd ideally be replacing those with proper conveyors. Okay, I'm floating around a lot and talking, but at the same time I'm considering carefully how we're gonna approach all this. I've not tidied all this area. This area could be a lot neater, but we can come to that in time. We just need the layout. Once we've got the layout figured out, we can then make a lot more progress. I'm also being very careful not to fill in any areas where we know we're going to need to run a conveyor pipe at some point. Like, for example, we've got the conveyor line through the middle here, which will come out in that yellow. Everything else is kind of attached. We know we're going to have to replace these with conveyors at some point. We know that on this side we're going to have to conveyor out to some sort of fuel system, and we know that under here we're going to have to conveyor out for potentially for thrust if hydrogen becomes a thing. So it's a lot of discussion. Let's have a look at the shape from this sort of point of view. Okay, from a central core, that's not bad. We are gonna have hangar bays, probably on each side. So it's something we potentially can start working on here now. And again, following the same sort of design language as our existing ships. We should probably pull out to the hangar bays from this floor and have them be quite a lot taller than we had them on the last ones, but use this space to do that. So here, I think we continue this out. Let's measure something out. 250 meters. That's 250. Oh no, we can go a maximum of 250 meters. I see. 24 meters. Let's fill in that space. Let's check it's done on the other side as well. Yeah. Right. Our hangar bay, where do we want it to be? I think parallel to this entire section, actually, because then it protects these blocks and it does fit the aesthetic quite well. So we're going to pull this out from here. It's going to be a double hangar bay. So that's 63 meters by 7. Won't let me pull it out any more than that. Oh god. That was slow. My god. Building with small blocks like this gets a bit, if you know what I mean. But we want to keep these floors kind of thin on the inside. Outside we can go proper chunky for armor, but inside we need these thin layers. We have this thick layer here, but that's only because it's protecting and covering this bit. We can at any point sort of cut one of these out, replace it with small grid bits and put some small blocks and put something in this space if we need to. So we're keeping that option. Right, what would be a good width for a ship that we want to put into here? It's probably going to need to be at least twice that width. So let's do another one of these. Big freeze. Come on. There we go. My god. But then it's doing it on both sides at the same time, which probably limits the number of blocks you're able to place at one time. Okay, so let's imagine we're a ship coming in to land. That's still incredibly tight. So we're going to need to come out a bit further. And this is light armor as well. Right, let's do this a bit like this. Oh, come on. There you go. Maybe I should have done this with large grid. I don't know. Oh my god. The freeze. I'm wondering if that efficiency is going to get slightly better in time. We could have done it with like the wall or floor blocks, but okay, it'd be a good experiment to see if we can bring this to its knees with too many blocks. Come on. Thinking about it. There we are. Right. It's... Oh, are we losing our efficiency now? Okay, let me look around. Let's see if my frame rate drops when we look at this. 117 frames per second. 120. I'm locked to 120 right now. Still 120 now. Okay, it's quite efficient once it's in and loaded properly. I mean, if we did this with the larger blocks, it might have been a bit more. In fact, yeah, let's undo those changes. See how long it takes to undo one of these big things. Undo. Undo. It's a bit quicker to undo than it is to do. Right, let's undo these bits. What I'm thinking, that's a large grid block. I think we'll use that as a step down to another large one. Right, okay, we're gonna do, do I have, what other block shapes do I have here? Come on, G menu. Things are getting a bit sluggish at the moment. We've got these other types of shape. Heavy armor. Not on the inside. Light armor. Is that a half block there? Yes, this would be nice. We just put that on our bar. We don't need a cockpit shape. We're going to need all these shapes sooner or later, but not for this bit. Right. Okay, so we've got our half block shapes. Now, the advantage of these in this particular environment... Oh, that's a bit offset, isn't it? Right, can I line that up? Yes, I can. Cool. Right, the advantage of these... Let's have some overlap. Oh, we've lost our symmetry mode again. Right. I'm just going to plan this shape out here a little bit. This is a lot more efficient. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's look from the front. Make sure we're not getting too much. I think we can go 1 or 2 more for these hangars. We need space for the armor. We'll leave the armor in a minute. Right. Okay, so let's pull this out. See if I can go the full length of this in one go. Bingo. Much better. Right. We've got this step here which we're going to smooth out, but random blocks there. Let's make sure everything did it on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. I apologise if this is a bit of a rambly one. There's a lot of thinking going on, and I've not pre-planned this at all. This is literally just me thinking through a new build from scratch as we go. This is kind of the process I would follow on my own, unrehearsed. Right, so that's the floor space of what we could consider to be a hangar. Now, the upside to this is we can put a large block straight onto the either side of a half block. We're not stuck with that gap. Now, that's one thing that's a massive improvement over the first Space Engineers. That is actually properly exciting to me. This space here still needs to be walkable. If I put a wall there, it might be too narrow. Let's have a look. Actually, no. It's a bit of a squeeze, but I think we can get away with it. Okay. So I think here... Whoa, 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 whoa. Zed. Hello. Right. I think here's time we can start using our window blocks. That's center aligned, so I'm just going to move it over. Not yet. We need a small grid cube, well, small-ish cube here, just to stand that on. Right, let's see what we've got here. Does the context menu do anything? Okay. Oh, we've got different shapes and sizes here. Right. Flat normal window. That's one of these we could do that with. Not really applicable at this point. Three-way end, that's quite nice, but we're going to go flat for this. Let's straighten ourselves just to make things a bit easier. Right, I need to think where this is going to start, so I think we place the windows in front of each of the reactors. I would like to get some kind of alignment here. So we're going to need a large grid block here to figure out how they fit with the reactors. So that's one there. So I'm going to place that right there, just for us to kind of align to. No, not there actually. I can place it. Let's see. There. Right, that's for our first window to align to, because the windows are the same size. So what we need to do is rotate you. No, not that way. That way. Make sure you're aligned. It's good. Now we can get rid of that. And we can drag you across. It still doesn't quite line up to the end of that. That's interesting, because the space... There are no spaces between them. use the end one, and we use, what's that the width of? Detail cube? Yeah, it's the width of a detail cube. But that's, a detail cube might be appropriate there actually, because it's, let's put a wall panel in actually. Not that kind, normal one. Which way round do we want it? That works. Yeah. If we put one there, just put one of these on the end, and then we can fill in that block. Let's check the other side. Yeah, good. Okay, and this will be where the doorway will be. So, door should fit perfectly there. Again, doors don't work yet. And of course we lost our symmetry as soon as we switched to doors. Actually no, maybe we put another panel in first. Let's bring our doorway a bit further over this way, so it's closer to the stairwell. Now you can start to see that the general structure of how you'd navigate the ship is starting to come together. This is kind of how I operate. Start with like the core blocks that we know we need, starting from a spine. Then I build out the engineering section and any other functions that the ship needs. So like we've got gyros, we've got power, we've got refineries and assemblers, which you might not need if it's like a warship, but this is going to be kind of like a everything based battleship type thing. It needs to be able to produce its own ammunition, it needs to be able to produce its own repair material. Self-sufficient, kind of dreadnought. So everything's in place there. So once you've got all that kind of aligned and in a place that's kind of central and protectable, then you need to start working about how do we get to all of the places that you need to repair or replace or upgrade. And then from that point, how do you get to auxiliary areas of the ship? So are you going to have a hangar? How do you get to it? Then you don't end up with like a cube straight away. You end up with something that's kind of built around its function, and then you can start designing the armor around that to the hull, and you should end up with a rather interesting shape. In theory. Now, I know people have said, you know, that I seem to have a vision when I'm building, and I kind of do, but also I kind of don't at the same time. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. I kind of know what I want, but I don't necessarily know exactly how I want to get it. If that makes any sense at all. I need a ramp. That should be the one. Is that going to be a bit steep? That might be a bit steep. I think what we're going to need to do... This might be a job for our little cubes. We haven't really used these a lot yet. Right. It's normal cube. Come on. Yeah. Just going to build a nice little sort of subtle step down. I don't want to have it be too like aggressive, so shame you don't have like the half styles on these, but I sincerely hope my tessellation's actually doing its job properly. And then that needs to be something else, yes. I wonder how they tessellate. Let's go and have a look. Okay, they tessellated fine. We do need something in there though. Not that kind. Not that kind. Those. Yeah, that's tidy. We need to put a gravity generator on here and hope it works. I don't know if they built gravity in yet, so... Right, where would we put a gravity generator? Now, gravity generators need to be central. So, about as central as possible, which is around... I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. Around about here-ish. On this floor. So kind of where that is, really, which is not exactly possible. But what we could do is build it into this floor here, sort of. Let's see, what can we lose? We could lose one of these and put it here. So, do we have a gravity generator on our bar somewhere? I think that would be it. That's a, what's this? It says I'm placing a drill. That does not to me look like a drill. One. Gravity generator. There we go. Right, gravity generators probably don't require any kind of conveying line, but we are going to use this spot. I don't think we're wasting a conveyor line by putting it there. Or are we? Actually, we could put it more like... Let's see, where was central? It was around about the middle of there. So actually, we could place it on the back of here. Okay. So, the keyboard and screen are at a good height. Probably could have done with being slightly lower. So let's take out that block, place it straight into there. That feels slightly better. Actually, maybe the one block higher was actually better. I kind of like it being integrated into the floor a little bit like that. I'm hoping the anchor's okay. I think what we should do is try and do something about making sure that these blocks all anchor in quite well, even if like there's some minor damage. And while we're at it, we can slightly improve the way these look. Because I'm aware that once we remove the... hang on. Here we are. Once we remove the temporary line for the conveyors to go in, some of the ones that are sitting directly on might actually not behave quite as well as we want. This can be kind of like a safety barrier. I'm going to keep that kind of more... Actually, no, not quite. I'm not going to bring these all the way in. And here I'll do the same, actually. Space where... That's quite neat. The other ones don't necessarily need it because they are conveyed. So we'll take out that. I think we'll leave that like that for this middle bit. Okay, so that should make sure that that stays connected. I mean, it will be connected to this, but I kind of just like the way that ties off. It's quite nice. Right, gravity generator is on. Do we have... Hey, it works. Do you know what? I hadn't actually even noticed that. Right, now we can test the stairs. Where did I put them? Well, we don't have a way to get up here yet. We need a way up to the top deck. We have a way. We did it. Alright, let's just check this. Can we walk slower? That's quite nice. Yeah, animations are definitely a lot more natural. Right, so now we can actually properly navigate the ship. I don't know how far the gravity field goes. Let's have a look. I quite like this. It's quite nice. You can search blocks still. What does that do? Okay, you can still group blocks. Okay, distance reach 100 meters. We are about 150 meters. So if the reach is 100 meters in every direction, then that should be fine. Shape though, spherical. Oh god. Okay, now we're orbiting the ship. So spherical definitely works. That's a functional part of the thing. Cylindrical. That's a new type. Field's probably slightly better. Okay. Right. Good to know. There's new gravity shapes as well. Cylindrical shape, I'm assuming, basically pulls everything in to the hull from any direction. So you could walk around, say if you built like a ship that's maybe, yeah, possibly for like if you built a ship that's kind of like around the side or outside of a ring, maybe you could have a cylindrical gravity field which basically puts you to the inside, or if you flipped it to the outside of the ring. Maybe you could then spin that. Okay, we've still got space there for something. We'll figure that out at a later time. We don't don't need to worry about that right now because we don't want to use up all of our slots because we still don't know what we're going to have access to. Right, we're building hangars. Okay, so this is generally the big hangar space. As for where everything's going to actually go, well, I'm not 100% decided on all of that yet. Okay, this bit here needs a bit of tidying because that size is not quite right. Wall blocks are like the width of one of these, but a door block is the width of two of these. So that works out quite neat. Doing it that way. I did not have symmetry on. Okay. There's my ship deciding that I've hit it slightly, so it needs to stabilize. There we go. Right, let's test. That's quite tidy. Certainly walkable. Right. So that's the interior wall that's gonna... Yeah, consider these like interior walls, I guess. Oh, they are called interior walls. I'm totally blind. Right. We did these with windows just because I kind of like that. Being able to see the reactors working when you come in. Are they tinted on any side? I don't believe they're tinted. Okay. We don't have to, at the moment at least, we don't have to deal with these being tinted on one side or the other. And I'm aware I've not painted anything on here. I'm keeping it kind of monochromatic for the moment so that we just have yellow for conveyor stuff that needs to be changed. And grey for things that potentially can stay put. Painting is a whole different thing, but once we've got a basic coat of paint on the areas and colour coded certain areas that we need to keep consistent for kind of like theming, the paint gun will allow us to repaint an entire colour without repainting the whole grid, so we can sort of play with the theme a bit once we've got the style of it in. Right, so now that we've got that one interior in, I think we need to put another layer on top. Yep. See if we can do the full width of one. Maybe we do two. Sweet. That kind of works. Now obviously conveyoring and stuff, we've kind of not filled in these bits yet because we don't know what we're going to bring out of here. Potentially we could come off these instead. We don't necessarily need these, but we're going to need access. In fact, I'm going to paint these yellow because they are kind of temporary. We don't want cargo containers being used everywhere we potentially want to have something connected. Oh, and I did the whole thing without thingy on again. Right. Symmetry mode was off when we did that bit to the deck, so we're going to have to do this side as well. Okay, can I pick colour? No, okay. So one little change is we have to go to the paint gun tool in order to pick a colour to build with. Little bit of a bummer, but I guess it's less accidental colour picking going on. Oh, don't save now. Come on, let's go up one. There you go. Tidy, right. So that's going to be the start of the hangar. I wonder if we, instead of doing that, we sort of arched it up. I'm not sure. Maybe we're going to arch it down instead. We want a lot of height so it's easy to get in and out. I don't know what kind of doors are going to be available to us as well. So hangar door wise, when it comes to air tightening, I don't know how Space Engineers 2 is going to deal with that. Whether a man-made hangar door could become airtight. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, anyway, so from the point of view of the front of the ship, we've already got an idea of kind of layout a little bit. Interior section protected by an exterior hollow section, which doubles up as hangars. Probably going to slope in, so I have some rooms around here, and slope down over the hangar. Thruster packs can be somewhere maybe tucked into the middle of the ship and bring the hangar back around the thruster packs to protect them. So potentially could go slightly longer with the hangar. Last time we had a hangar at the front here for docking larger, sort of more cargo oriented ships in. But if we make these large enough, we might not need that. We could have this hangar side opening. From this side. Potentially. Rather than sort of front and back launch tube style. Although that's possibly risking damage on coming in and out, because potentially most of the firepower of the ship, then again, it depends on how we do it, most of the firepower of the ship could be in line with the ship to make a much smaller target. So profile wise, that is far smaller than that. So maybe this would be the best side to come out of the hangar on, because we'd be coming in, like, instead of coming out into battle, straight in and getting shot before you leave the hangar, or totally away from battle and have to flip around, you can come out side on, be harder to hit target. Yeah, okay, so that's my thoughts there. Right, this is the point where I'm going to leave it this time. So we've made a lot more progress now. We have a full stairwell. We've replaced our gyros into somewhere a bit more manageable. We've got entire maintenance way here, which is totally traversable. These need filling in. Visibility of the hangar. You can see both sides of the hangar, in fact. This will allow traversal all the way around for the minute. Let's just walk the whole thing. Access to all of the reactors, all of the gyros, not the cargoes. Redundant staircase. Probably put something there, maybe. Maybe like a private staircase up to something. Maybe not. Straight access into where the main conveyor line is going to be. One thing we definitely need to maintain because it's the spine. Access to the engineering deck, the production deck, our printers and such. Whatever we're going to put back here, I don't know yet. And then we're going to have another deck on top of this for command. So right now we're going to leave it here, and I'm going to get at least one more done before the end of this week. So we'll probably have another one of these tomorrow, if not tomorrow then Thursday. And then we're going to be back for No Jetpack Survival on Friday. Solar's Project coming again on Saturday or Sunday, depending on how long it takes me to get these out. I've got my motorcycle training on Saturday, so Solar's Project might be a little late. Once we get to the point though that this is as far as we can go with this particular vertical slice, then we'll probably put this project on hold, find something else to do, and we can come back to this at the beginning of each new vertical slice to see what new stuff we can do with this ship and how we can make it relevant to the new features. So thanks very much for watching so far. We'll catch you again tomorrow, and have a fantastic day. Bye for now.